driver that hit the agents was arrested just 2 weeks ago and there was heroin found in his car?
Not by us, so I'm not sure.
What was the nature then of, you said he was known to you, what was the nature of him being known to this department?
We have arrested him. We have, he was currently on probation. And just generally, we're familiar with him.
What was he on probation for?
I'm not sure, we'd have to check.
Was there paraphernalia in the vehicle?
Vehicle was secured, seized, and ultimately what was in the vehicle will be revealed after the search warrant's executed. So at the scene, because we knew we had to, very painstakingly go through the vehicle, we basically sealed the vehicle and transported it. So once that search warrant is executed, and that will be part of the investigation, and we'll go to the overall conclusion of what we think may have caused the
Is he known to have a problem with heroin?
I don't want to say that. Obviously, we're familiar with him. I don't want to talk about.
Has he been arrested for drug possession before?
I have his, we have his, I can have the lieutenant do a quick perusal of his record there. It's pretty long, so that might take him a few minutes, so we could get back to you on that.
What can you tell us about the agents? Were they on their way to Portsmouth Airport to check it out ahead of Hillary's arrival there?
What I can tell you about that is that we have nothing to do with scheduling or assigning agents, and basically we've been asked to have you ask the Public Information Office about what they were doing for an update on that. The Secret Service is aware of this press conference. We discussed in the release, what they're comfortable with, and they are open for communication with them.
What is the
Lieutenant, I know that you were actually on the scene the night that this all happened. Can you describe the conditions of the people who were involved in this crash, specifically those Secret Service agents? Were they bloodied? Were they complaining? Were they conscious?
What I'll tell you about the injuries as far as the Secret Service, they were not life-threatening. They were attended to immediately by the quick response of the EMS professionals and the fire and rescue that responded, and they were taken to Frisbee Hospital in Rochester, where they were attended to for their injuries.
Lieutenant, were they wearing seatbelts?
I can't give you anything more about specific injuries. I'm
Were they
sorry.
wearing seatbelts, and were they in any condition to render aid to the other people involved?
All of the Secret Service agents were indeed wearing their seatbelts in the collision. The preliminary investigation revealed that. The preliminary investigation also revealed that the operator of driving the Taurus that was by the Secret Service agents, there was no improper driving at all on behalf of the Secret Service agents.
Do you know how fast each of the vehicles are traveling?
Obviously, the investigation will have to reveal that, but based upon the separation of the vehicles, a lack of significant separation, the vehicles were not traveling at high speeds.
What was the relationship of the two women to the deceased?
I know that that one of the women, Natasha Morosky, was the girlfriend of Bruce Danforth, and the other lady, lady that was in the vehicle was a friend.
Have they been interviewed?
No, they have not. And they have not because their injuries are preventing that at this point in time.
Earlier you were talking about wanting to speak with the driver of a vehicle that you believe the Mercury Sable is trying to pass. Can you talk more about what information you've developed about that and what kind of vehicle it might be?
Again, the preliminary investigation indicates that the vehicle that was driven by Bruce Danforth was attempting to pass a northbound vehicle. So that vehicle obviously did not stop. This is the vehicle that was being passed, and that is the reason why I'm reaching out to the public to convey, our request that if you were in that vehicle or you were driving that vehicle, please contact New Hampshire State Police again at 223-8838 or contact Trooper Christopher Storm at 223-8607.
Can you talk about how you came to learn that it was that his vehicle was trying to pass another
This is based upon information that we gleaned at the scene, and I can't necessarily get into that with you at this point.
Were there any witnesses?
Well, yes, there were, obviously, we have witnesses.
That weren't involved in the crash, that weren't in either of the cars?
No, there were not.
Was weather a factor in the crash?
From a visibility standpoint, that's something that always occurs during periods of inclement weather. But it is clear to us from the preliminary investigation that causation for this vehicle was the northbound vehicle crossed over the center road, the center line, and struck the vehicle that was driven by the Secret Service agents.
Lieutenant, can you talk about the conditions of those vehicles? I mean, are the car doors off of their hinges? Is there a front end, a back end? Can you tell us what they look like?
Both vehicles sustained significant damage to the front end because it was essentially a head-on collision. And in order to provide medical attention to those that were inside the vehicle, fire and rescue did have to remove doors and cut vehicles in order to get them out as quickly as possible to get them medical treatment.
Are the Secret Service agents still in the hospital, Holbrook?
I cannot comment on their present condition or where they are.
You can't tell if they've been released, or?
I cannot. I don't have that information.
Did Bruce Danforth have a driver's license that was valid?
I think the chief indicated that he did not. He did not have a valid driver's
What was the
license.
last known address for Mr. Danforth?
The exact address, I am not sure. I know he has I believe, Ossipee, Center Ossipee area. I'm not sure about it.
Where were the other two? Do we know where the other two were from?
Yep.
Were they disabled?
So Natasha Maraski is the girlfriend, I believe, living with Bruce Danforth, and the other woman comes back to, I believe, Green Mountain Road address in Effingham.
Why was Danforth's license revoked? Or was he under suspension?
He was under suspension.
Do you know the reason for it?
We'll have to research that. Yes, sir.
When did the Secret Service arrive on scene and what's not in the car?
Within hours after the crash.
Do you know if they were with Hillary Clinton's detail at that point and they came down from Berlin?
I believe they were called in from off-site offices.
Where are those?
Portland.
Where?
Portland?
Do you know, can you confirm though that they were working with the Clinton campaign or covering?
I believe the chief indicated that they were working as part of the protection efforts for Secretary Clinton.
Are you aware at all if the Secret Service is going to reach out to any of us, or if they're going to participate in this anyway?
I'm not aware. Let's take two more questions.
Where that accident happened, it's a particularly bad spot, right, where the two lanes merge, and if you are trying to pass someone, you could get caught out there, right?
There have been significant efforts, to improve the roadways, our Route 16 in that area, to include rumble strips, to include left passing lanes at area intersections. So the roadways, significant efforts have been made to improve that roadway. In this particular case, as I said before, causation for this vehicle was that the northbound vehicle crossed over the center line. One more question.
Did the search warrants go beyond the cars?
Are there any pictures or video that you're able to share with us at all?
Not at this time. So that concludes the press conference. We'll be available for questions after this is done. Okay. Thank you.